Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie, and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'm so glad you did. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. Let's jump right in. As you notice, I'm not on camera today. I was shown a set of relational aspects that I needed to put on paper so that I could convey this message, the message of not only this week's energy, but the energy that's integrated from the last eclipse and the interim, and then this eclipse, and then the energy that spans through January of this year. So very quickly, let me just go through the aspects of this week, and then we'll jump over to the slides that I prepared. So today we have the North Node opposite Mercury in Libra, or you could also say it's the South Node conjunct Mercury, or Mercury conjunct the South Node. This speaks of lack of diplomacy, self-sacrifice in relationships, or oversharing in an attempt to manipulate outcomes. The South Node in Libra could be codependency, but it's an over-reliance on others or sacrificing of yourself. Then Monday, we have the Mars, which is in the sign of Cancer, is going to trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces as well. The Sun in Libra is going to conjunct Mercury for a cazimi. And this really foreshadows our eclipse energy. That eclipse is on Wednesday of this week, but this is really kind of a foreshadowing and also an activation of the triad of authenticity we're going to talk about in a moment. That Sun trine Pluto back at the time of the full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces really insisted on authenticity moving forward. And now with the Sun and Mercury meeting to discuss that same conversation, which is also going to be carried out through this eclipse. Okay, then on Wednesday we will have Lilith will conjunct Mercury very early in the morning, and this is going to be a pre-eclipse conversation, and I'm going to keep moving with that. This new moon in Libra that will occur at 2:49 p.m. It's a new moon, total solar annular eclipse, so it's a ring of fire eclipse, will be again occurring at 2:49 Eastern time, ruled by Venus conjunct Lilith and Mercury. And of course the Sun and the Moon are conjunct. That's what makes it a new moon. We're going to be needing to set a new intention after the perfection of the Sun and the Moon's conjunction. This lunation is squaring Mars. So early childhood, things that have to do with Mars and Cancer themes. And if Cancer is all about home, family, protection, and Mars is there to assert power or have passion for that area, it is going to square this eclipse energy. So anywhere where there is codependency, lack of balance in relationships, could cause early childhood reflections at this, where Mars is located, has to do with our homes. With this square to Mars, it's asking us to put the hard work in. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. Let me keep moving. On Thursday of this week, we'll have Lilith, and in the sign of Libra, is going to conjunct the Sun. And this is relationship awakenings. There could be anger and frustration here. It's all about toxic relationships. This is post-eclipse, this confirmation, this connection. So there could be some reconciliation once we've had the moments of authenticity relative to Mercury and your essence or communication of that. Okay. Then on Friday, we are going to have Mars is going to enter pre-retrograde shadow at 17 degrees of Cancer. Mars officially goes retrograde in the sign of Cancer on the 6th of December at 0 degrees of Leo. Yep, he's going to keep moving forward through Cancer into Leo, then hit that retrograde and want to go back and take a look at some Some things relative to the Cancer area of our chart and motivations associated with that. On the 23rd of February, he does go direct, but he doesn't come out of shadow till the 2nd of May. So any of these issues that Mars will be addressing while in Cancer, expect some reflection on that over the course of the coming months, and really resolution not to take place until next May. So this is a very long extended period of retrograde, which we see with Mars every couple of years. Now, Venus is going to trine Saturn. We are going to jump more into this in a minute. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it is the activation of that triad of authenticity and the clearing away of dysfunctional situations, abuses, as you release them to source for transmutation. And Mercury will quincunx Saturn at that time, also part of this conversation. Now, a couple things to take into consideration before we jump into the chart that I prepared. The last time there was a Grand Water Trine, so at the time of this eclipse, it won't be perfected, but it is available for us. And again, we're going to talk about how to use this at the time of the eclipse to your benefit. But this Grand Water Trine with these planets and in these placements, which is the sign that they're in, last occurred in 1994. So you might want to go back to that and see what was happening in your life in 1994. In addition to that, in October of 2005 was the last time we had an eclipse in the sign of Libra at 10 degrees. Immediately what came to mind when I looked at that was Hurricane Katrina. My heart and love goes out to all people in the path of the hurricane that just came on shore in Florida, passed through Georgia, and has decimated North Carolina and Tennessee. So my heart and love goes out to them, but this same instance occurred back in 2005 as well. The Pope died, and I know I've listened to some astrological forecasts where they are suggesting that a leader could pass, and certainly if we look at predictive astrology, that's certainly the case with a 10-degree Libra eclipse. So let's quickly jump into the sheets that I prepared for you. What I have on the left side is basically the full moon, full supermoon, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces and certain aspects associated with that. You can read that. I don't want to reread it all for you, but what's interesting to note at the bottom is that Pisces Virgo axis, which has to do with work, health, ethereal versus details. The North Node is in Pisces, South Node is in Virgo. We're asked to let go of those Virgo themes and step into our Piscean themes. The dates prior of the North Node being in Pisces, South Node being in Virgo, April of 69 to November of 70, December of 87 through May of 89. We've got June of 06 through December of 07, and then January of 25 through April of 26, which we will be stepping into in January. We did just have the first lunation, which was the eclipse that took place on the 17th of September. Now, moving forward, we have a new moon, solar annular eclipse in Libra, all about balance, relationship, partnerships, diplomacy, all of that. However, this is a South Node activation. Because the South Node currently sits in Libra, we're being asked to let go of something that has to do with that South Node. Could it be codependency, relational imbalance? You know, we're just being asked to let go of things. And remember, it's a new moon, so we're going to want to set an intention moving forward with what we want to do once we're out of those things or we've shed those things. We want to integrate the self, then our relationships. Now, we always look at, when we look at lunations, we want to see who the ruler is of Libra, of the sign of Libra, and that would be Venus. And what is she doing? She's in this beautiful Grand Water Trine, Venus, Saturn, and Mars, asking us to go with the flow for renewal. And Mercury will be post-Cazimi once the Sun and Mercury are conjunct tomorrow. That would be at 5:09 p.m. here on the East Coast. Remember, the Sun is going to share with Mercury the conversation that he just had while the partial lunar eclipse occurred. He was having a very grand conversation with Pluto about authenticity. So now the Sun is asking asking Mercury once again to make sure as we move forward, we're processing everything with utmost authenticity. Now at the bottom of this page, you'll see the Libra axis, Aries Libra axis, basic what that axis defines, as well as the dates. So let's keep moving forward here. The next clip, this is talking about the transition from one eclipse to the other. I hope you can see everything clearly in this slide. So basically we went from an Earth Grand Trine, which was Pluto, Uranus, and the Sun speaking at the time of the last eclipse. The only two planets that are still connected would be Uranus and Pluto. So cardinal signs welcome in seasons. Cardinal signs currently are facing all kinds of issues relative to this eclipse. That would be the new moon solar annual eclipse, because we have all of this Libra energy is opposing this Aries energy, and Cancer energy is opposing Ceres in Capricorn. So what we have is a fixed grand cross that is cardinal. So cardinal signs welcome in the season. We want to welcome in the season, then we're going to, hold on to it for a bit. But the Cardinal Grand Cross is creating friction for change. So again, we have the Sun and Moon conjunct here with Black Moon Lilith pointing out deficiencies, massive deficiencies in any relationship. We've got Mercury now post-Cazimi demanding that there is authenticity and transparency. And then we've got the South Node here asking us to make sure moving forward that we are not carrying any codependent bags in relationships. We've got Capricorn opposing Cancer. Mars in Cancer wants us to find home. Where is home? And Capricorn, Ceres is the god of harvest, grains. Well, we want to harvest something, but we don't even know where our home is. So how can we be comfortable harvesting or cutting anything out until we know for sure? Then we've got the Aries energy, which is opposing. And again, we've got North Node opposing South Node. That happens all day, every day. But then we've got Chiron here in Eris, our street fighter. She's asking us to stand up for ourselves, women's rights. But Chiron is here to offer the healing once that we're able to figure out what this Cardinal Grand Cross and its friction is asking us to change. Now, with the dissipation of the Cardinal Grand Cross comes in the Grand Water Trine asking us to go with the flow. We may not understand it, but we need to go with the flow. Uranus and Pluto are still having a trine conversation, and will for quite some time. And they're ushering in change through the expansion of consciousness and the transformation that it brings. It is now time to create new beginnings through this Grand Water Trine, which Venus is a part of, Venus in Scorpio. She doesn't necessarily like it here, but when she's dealing with the energies of this Cardinal Grand Cross, she needs Venus needs Scorpio. She needs to go deep. She needs to unearth all of the nastiness, the over pleasure of sexual desires. The Diddy case, for example, that's another perfect example of this energy and how it's manifesting currently. So we really want to go with the flow. We want to let go of these things that are creating friction in the season that we find ourselves in, so that we can welcome in change. We want to let go of dysfunctional, codependent relationship dynamics and indecision, so that we can welcome in new, balanced, higher frequency relationships. How do we do that? Really quickly, we've been through this before, but I put it in a slide for you, so if you need to get a screenshot, you most certainly can. Here we are at the triad of authenticity. Saturn brought this to our attention when Saturn went retrograde, asking us to make sure that as we set an intention for anything and it was met with need and effort, that it was done so with authenticity. And once doing so, that the outcome would be proper. Our goal would be met. So let's talk about this. So you have an intentional, authentic need that gets expressed. And it's either going to be met with effort that is extended and it's real and it's authentic. Because it's authentic, as was the intention, and the effort and the need, you had an effort and there's a need that matches it. We got need, we got effort, matches it. Authentic, intentional need meets authentic effort. Your goal gets met. On the contrary, you have an authentic need that is expressed. It's intentional, it's authentic, and it's a need. Then somebody steps up. They could have the right thought in mind. It's somebody who's a people pleaser, let's say, or maybe not good with time, and they say they can do it, but they really can't. That effort is inauthentic. It's creating a facade of reality that can no longer be supported. The authentic, intentional need did not meet the authentic effort. The effort you might have thought that I could do this, but you really couldn't, because the people-pleasing piece of it, there's just no reality in that commitment that was made on behalf of the person who has an effort that can meet a need. Then guess what happens? Incessant spinning, because there's no authenticity. We will go from, oh, let me try again. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try again. But wait a minute. Let me try again. And slowly you burn out, which is also a theme of our Mars retrograde season, burnout, making sure that we're not burning out. But back to the triad of authenticity. With the Pisces-Virgo axis, authenticity is paramount. Virgo will spin incessantly on details. Pisces is the culmination of all that is. Saturn is here to create a pause for determination if a need is authentic or a means of dependency. If an authentic need arises, is the effort authentic? Are we going to spin on the details? It's time to set yourself free. Well, I decided to use, thank you so much for sticking with me today. I figured it was going to be a long day. I decided to use, given that it's an eclipse, I wanted to use the Keepers of the Light deck. Kyle Gray put this together, and the artwork is by Lily Moses, and it's just gorgeous. The card that popped out is Lord Ganesh. Let's see what the book has to say. Infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing. Ganesh, also known as Ganapate, is the Hindu elephant-headed god, the son of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati. Legend said he received his elephant head as a replacement after his father sliced his human one off when he mistook him for an intruder. Ganesh is acknowledged as the Lord who removes obstacles and is much loved by taxi drivers in India because they believe he helps them weave in and out of crazy traffic. Ganesh is a sweet-toothed, life-loving, joyful, dancing, and very approachable God. He will use his light to weave a perfect path for you. Here's the extended message. It's important this time to move beyond the limitations of it's not meant to be and focus on if this is for my highest good, then the universe will take me there safely. Ganesh is not only bringing a clear light to your external situation, but also helping you clear up any inner conflicts. When obstacles arise, know that they are just reminders that you care about your path and that you have the ability to change your current situation. Ganesh is here to help you. Thank him for clearing the way. To increase your connection to him, you may want to chant in Sanskrit. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you want to know when videos are being shared, please click the subscribe button. If you have any comments or suggestions, please post them in the comment section below. If you want to co-create with me, please do share this video. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you today. I wish you the best during this eclipse season as we close out codependent relationships, any places where we're sacrificing ourselves, and welcoming in high frequency relationships that allow us to go with the flow. Namaste.